Hi everyone, it's May 11th at the Hotchkiss Library of Sharon, and I have some book news to share with you, what's new on our shelves with the Nonfiction Book Buzz this morning. First off, let's start with a memoir by Tove Ditlevsen, the Copenhagen Trilogy. I ordered this book a number of months ago, and it has been very hard to get. It was back ordered and we finally got our copy. This trilogy includes 3 memoirs by this most celebrated Danish writer of the 20th century, childhood, youth, and dependency. It's really the story of her awakening as an artist. She committed suicide at a fairly young age and has had a bit of a rediscovery happening about her and her writing. And this new translation has recently appeared. And as I said, it was difficult to get, so I'm anxious to read this one. Again, Tove Ditlevsen, the Copenhagen Trilogy, translated from the Danish. Moving on to biography, we have the new definitive biography of Lady Bird Johnson, Hiding in Plain Sight, by Julia Zweig. And this book looks very, very interesting. She's basically, the author is showing that she was a much more influential First Lady than previously known. And she is one of the first people to have access, or actually to realize that Lady Bird Johnson left behind a big set of diaries in the Johnson Presidential Library. And she's really the first person to read every word that she left behind. And this is the result. Very, very interesting look at the Johnson presidency and Lady Bird's role far beyond just the highway beautification project that she's most known for. This woman has also produced and is the star of a podcast about Lady Bird Johnson, in which they play a number of the tapes of Lady Bird Johnson reading her journal entries. So it's really, really interesting. That's also called Hiding in Plain Sight. And for some good American history, we have Stampede by Brian Kastner. The subtitle is Gold Fever and Disaster in the Klondike, and this is about the Klondike Gold Rush in 1897 to 1898. It's received rave reviews for narrative history, filled with stories of unbelievable courage and craziness, quite frankly, and amazing characters, and that incredible urge for the discovery of gold and the desire to find great wealth. So I recommend this highly as well. Moving on, we have some science and nature writing for all of our birding fans here in Sharon. We have John Dunn's The Glitter in the Green in Search of Hummingbirds. It has beautiful photographs. I love this jacket, these colors, and the bird in the corner, just beautiful. He is a natural history writer, photographer, and wildlife tour leader. His writing has appeared in a number of magazines, and he is the author of 3 previous books, including Orchid Summers. Wow, he's from the Shetland Islands. He lives on his croft on the remote Shetland Islands, and he's traveled the world in search of hummingbirds. So this looks really interesting and terrific. Next, we have Tom Zollner's The National Road, Dispatches from a Changing America. And this writer basically took to the roads, kind of like Blue Highways, we could say, from many years ago, William Least Heat Moon, taking to the highways and back roads of America to discover hidden stories and what's really happening. So The National Road. It has some great praise from East Los Angeles to King Philip's War. Tom Zollner's grand tour of our fractured, uneasy United States reads simultaneously like an elegy for what was and an ode for what's ahead. Beautiful, smart, and ultimately comforting. Now, if we move on to food and travel, a posthumous book by Anthony Bourdain has been published called World Travel, An Irreverent Guide. It is a mixture of travel guide, restaurant recommendations, hotel recommendations in places all over the world, as well as excerpts from Anthony Bourdain's own observations about these places, whether positive or negative, and how he often went to a place biased, thinking he wasn't going to enjoy it or wouldn't like the food, and had sort of an epiphany there. This was edited by Laurie Woollever, who was his longtime assistant and co-writer, and it also contains very short essays by friends and others about Bourdain. So it's an interesting hybrid if you were a fan of his very popular books a while back, or of his TV shows. I think this might be fun, and it might be a fun way to do a little armchair traveling now and dreaming about where you might go when you're ready to get on a plane again and head off somewhere for some great food. The next, maybe I should have talked about this one first because it's a little bit less happy about food. This is Hooked by Michael Moss. He was the author of Salt, Sugar, and Fat, which was an influential book a number of years ago. And the subtitle here says it all: Food, Free Will, and How the Food Giants Exploit Our Addictions. I think we know a lot of this, but I'm sure there is interesting news to be found in here, and may help to push the slow food movement, organic food movement, and healthier diets forward a bit. And last but not least, I thought we should end with a beautiful book with beautiful illustrations about flowers. We have some new books in our gardening collection this year, and this one is just in, and it's called Florets Farm, Discovering Dahlias, A Guide to Growing and Arranging Magnificent Blooms. You can see that picture there of the author, who is named Erin Bensikine. She is a celebrated farmer and florist, and she grows many varieties of dahlias. This book is just gorgeous. I know we have some dahlia enthusiasts here in Sharon, and I don't have the skill or the patience, I think, to grow them myself at my house, but I do enjoy buying some from the roadside stands in the summer. Here's another gorgeous illustration. How can you resist those flowers? So many colors, shapes, and sizes, just beautiful. So talks all about, digging them up every fall, storing them, and then replanting them in the spring. It's intensive work, but I think the bounty is well worth it. So that's the Nonfiction Book Buzz today. And come on into the library. We're open for business and waiting to see you. Bye-bye.